Let's walk through a hidden history together. We're going to talk about a name, a weapon, really, that so many of us have heard, maybe even used, without ever knowing the true story behind it. And, more importantly, how that story was stolen.
Yeah, we all know what this means, right? When a black person gets called an Uncle Tom, the message is crystal clear. It's meant to hurt. It's one of the deepest cuts you can make, an accusation of betraying your own people.
And that's where the story takes a turn. Because what if the meaning we all know so well didn't actually come from us? What if we were taught to use this name as an insult, deliberately, by the very same systems it's supposed to be fighting against?
To get to the truth, the very first thing we have to do is separate the slur from the man it was based on. His name was Josiah Henson. He was a real person, and his actual life was the complete and total opposite of a traitor's. Just look at this, side by side. On the left, you've got the insult we all know, submissive, a sellout. And on the right, the reality of the man, Josiah Henson, a freedom fighter, a liberator, a builder of black institutions. This isn't just a simple mistake. It's a complete historical flip. The truth got turned completely upside down.
So let's just run through his story. Josiah Henson was born into slavery, but he didn't wait for freedom. He took it. He escaped to Canada with his entire family. And he didn't stop there. He became a conductor on the Underground Railroad, co-founded a whole community for other escaped people, and even met with the Queen of England to get funding for black self-reliance. This man's life was all about resistance. And get this number. That's the estimate of how many enslaved people Josiah Henson personally guided to freedom. Think about that. He risked his own freedom, his own life over and over again, going back into slave territory to bring other people out. That's a man of unbelievable courage. So it begs the question, right? If this man was such a hero, how in the world did his legacy get twisted into a slur for a sellout? Well, the short answer is his story was hijacked. It was taken, and it was deliberately broken. Now, we need to be really clear about this part. The lie didn't even start with the famous novel, Uncle Tom's Cabin. In the book, the character of Tom is actually a hero, a martyr who dies protecting other enslaved people. The real poison came after the book, from these hundreds of cheap, racist stage plays called Tom shows. They were performed by white actors in blackface, and they turned this character of resistance into a joke, a weak, happy-go-lucky servant for white audiences to laugh at. You know, what's so wild is that this wasn't an accident. It was a process. You can literally map it out in 4 steps. 1, create the racist caricature. 2, spread it everywhere, make it more popular than the truth. 3, bury the real story of the real man. And 4, this is the most twisted part, let the very people being oppressed inherit the insult and start using it on each other. And that leads us to the most difficult, most painful part of this story. How that lie, created to entertain white people, ended up inside our own communities. As a weapon, we point at ourselves. Let's just sit with that for a second. The insult feels rebellious, but it's actually rehearsed. When someone uses that slur, it feels like they're protecting the community, like they're calling out a traitor. But what they're actually doing is repeating lines from a script that was written for us, not by us, 150 years ago. And the reason the trap works so well is because it taps into something real, our pain, our fear of betrayal, but it points all that valid anger in the wrong direction. It takes a stereotype created by white supremacy and uses it to punish our own. So we end up using shame to control each other, and in the process, we dishonor an ancestor who fought for us. The anger is real, the target is just wrong. You know, there's actually a term for what happened to Josiah Henson's legacy. It's called epistemic violence. It's the murder of knowledge. The truth of a freedom fighter wasn't just forgotten, it was killed and replaced with a lie. His very name was hacked and reprogrammed. But here's the good news. A lie, no matter how powerful or how old, can be dismantled by the truth. And right now, people are doing the work to undo this damage and give this hero his name back. And this is a perfect example of what that work looks like in the real world. Just a couple of years ago, in 2022, the historic site in Canada dedicated to his life was officially renamed. It's no longer the Uncle Tom's Cabin site. Now it's the Josiah Henson Museum of African Canadian History. That's not just changing a sign, that's an act of repair. It's putting the man, the real man, back at the center of his own story. Because when we do this, when we reclaim this history, we're doing more than just correcting a fact. We are restoring a hero to his rightful place. We get to see exactly how these stereotypes get made. We take away the power of a weapon that's been used against us. And we give honor back to an ancestor whose entire life was the opposite of the slur that was attached to his name.
So we'll end on this thought right here. Words are never just words. They're packed with history. And when you learn the real history behind a word like this, it can change everything. This isn't about shaming anyone. It's about giving us all the truth so we can choose our words from a place of knowledge and power.